This is CBC Here and Now.
Tonight, government is trying to rein in two of your biggest monthly costs.
The electricity rates in our province will not increase because of the Muskrat Falls project.
The Liberals need $750 million to keep hydro rates from skyrocketing, but they're still $200 million short.
And the Liberals are promising to drive down what it costs to insure your car.
Our government will eliminate the remaining tax on automobile insurance in Newfoundland and Labrador.
It's also cracking down on uninsured drivers and promising a discount for winter tires.
All these promises with an election call coming soon.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Carolyn Stokes.
And I'm Peter Cowan, and let's get straight to that plan to prevent Muskrat Falls from making your power rates soar.
Yeah, it's a plan that would stabilize power rates at 13.5 cents, and that's slightly more than we pay now, but it comes with more than just a few what-ifs.
Yeah, and Terry Roberts has been looking at that part of the story, and he joins us now live. Terry, we're talking about a lot of money here.
Well, yes, Peter, we sure are. And 2021 is coming fast. That's when we're going to need to find about $725 million every year to pay that Muskrat mortgage. And the Liberal government, they believe they've come up with a plan right now that can deliver reliable and probably more importantly for many people, affordable electricity.
Liberals are expected to call an election any day, and today's announcement was highly political. Seats filled with sitting MHAs and those hoping to be. They came to hear Dwight Ball's government unveil its plan for muskrat mitigation. And here's how it breaks down. We currently pay roughly 12 cents for electricity. When muskrat was sanctioned 7 years ago, it was expected rates would increase to 15.1 cents. But muskrat is more than $5 billion over budget. And without offsetting the costs, rates will soar to nearly 23 cents in a few years. But the Liberals are promising to protect customers.
It's dependable. This plan takes rates down to 13.5 cents.
So where is all the money coming from? There's big savings at Holyrood because oil-fired generation will be replaced by hydropower. Nalcor has been ordered to find $200 million annually as a rate mitigation measure. That's money that won't be going into our coffers from revenue sources such as oil and gas.
Just imagine how much better off we would be today if we had access to that revenue.
NL Hydro expects to generate millions more in surplus energy sales. And government is going all in on data centers, large warehouses filled with computer servers, hoping these electricity-guzzling operations will set up at Muskrat or Soldiers Pond, drawn by competitive prices and reliable power.
There are about requests for about 300 megawatts of power from data centers in our province. We already know there's value there.
Nalcor, the corporation that brought us Muskrat, will shoulder some of the burden. Savings are expected as government buildings are converted to electric heat. Nalcor has also found operational savings at Muskrat, and there are plans to reduce diesel consumption in off-grid communities. That leaves a $200 million gap, and Ball is hoping for a federal lifeline from Ottawa through a possible restructuring of the Muskrat financial arrangement.
So whatever the restructuring turns out to be, we're very confident that the $200 million is there.
I believe that once we get under the hood, we're going to find an awful lot that we're going to be able to do.
Now, talks with Ottawa on that lifeline are continuing. Meanwhile, this Liberal plan now promises to deliver power rates that are about, well, more than a cent cheaper than the plan that was put forward by Ches Crosby and the Tories not too long ago. And of course, in this highly charged political atmosphere that we're in right now, some Liberals are not hesitant about repeating that. Reporting live from the newsroom, I'm Terry Roberts for Here and Now.
And as you just heard Terry say, this is a politically charged time. And today the opposition parties reacted to the Liberals' plan.
This is not a Muskrat Falls rate mitigation plan that Mr. Ball and the Liberal government have announced. It's a sort of free-form subsidy of rates that has nothing to do with Muskrat Falls and ends up being a subsidy for the shareholders of Fortis.
They're saying that they're going to get $200 million in from the federal government based on some discussions and some planning that they're doing. It doesn't say that there's going to be $200 million every year into the future when we're going to need that.
So his plan is to subsidize rates using taxpayer money, which is in short supply, as we know. He wants to subsidize or buy off ratepayers. It's now come completely unhinged from anything to do with Muskrat Falls.
So things like the profits coming back from Nalcor are now going to be used for rate mitigation and not hospitals and schools and roads and things like that.
Now, if some of these ideas sound familiar, that's because they've been said before. For example, just last summer, former Premier Danny Williams predicted the government would do exactly this. He said Nalcor money is there for government to keep electricity rates lower.
Government does have the power to do this. I hope government does do it. I encourage government to do it, and I can assure them that the mechanism is there to do it from the Nalcor revenues and dividends.
Well, now to the other big promise, the Liberals are lowering what you pay for car insurance. We have the highest insurance rates in Atlantic Canada. On average, drivers pay 35% more. Here now's Katie Breen was at the announcement today. So Katie, what are the changes?
Well, before even getting to the rates, Ball dropped a budget surprise. He's cutting tax on automobile insurance effective immediately. That's a tax he introduced in his first budget, and it brings in about $60 million a year, a savings for drivers there. But what about the actual rates? The government announced it won't put a limit on how can claim for minor injury, pain, and suffering, so no cap. Instead, the province is proposing a higher deductible for those claims, going from $2,500 to $5,000. Other proposals include not letting uninsured drivers file a claim through the Automobile Insurance Fund, something that costs $26 million over 5 years, according to the PUB. Insurers will also have to offer discounts for snow tires, and they'll have to tell motor vehicle registration if a policy is canceled or expires.
The goal is, through the measures that we've brought in, is that we want to see a continued decrease in accidents that are happening, and obviously that's the best way to prevent claims from going higher and from premiums from going higher, is to do more on the prevention side, the enforcement side, the deterrent side. So I think, again, right now what you'll see is a stabilization, but I also think you will see a gradual decrease over time.
Of course, all the amendments have to be passed in the House first, but I asked the opposition today what they thought of axing the tax.
I've always said that if the objective is to give owners of vehicles and people paying for auto insurance relief, then that is the easiest, most straightforward, and most reliable way to do it. They get 15% relief immediately.
It certainly looks suspicious, doesn't it? I mean, we're seeing an awful lot of government announcements coming the day before the budget and shortly before we are expecting an election. So it certainly sounds like someone is trying to make a very nice set of circumstances in which to drop a writ.
So you heard the election speculation there. The budget is going to come down 2 o'clock tomorrow, Island time. Reporting live in St. John's, I'm Katie Breen for Here and Now.
And in case you haven't had enough, we have more government announcements. The provincial government released a long-awaited consultants report on how to diversify Newfoundland and Labrador's economy. McKinsey offered 37 recommendations on how to increase jobs and revenue from things like oil, fish, agriculture, tourism, and aviation. The 153-page report was released at PAL Aerospace in St. John's in one of their hangars. The province says it'll spend $200,000 to study if the report's recommendation to create an aircraft maintenance, repair, and overhaul center makes sense. The government says other recommendations will be acted on in tomorrow's budget. The McKinsey report costs the province $1 million. Finance Minister Tom Osborne says it was worth every penny.
This one announcement here today, if we're able to get a piece of that action in this province, it is hundreds of high-paying jobs that links in with innovation, that links in with technology. It creates a number of spin-off industries. This alone, if this was the only thing to come out of the report, and there's many other things, but if this was the only thing, it makes the report
But you haven't announced
worthwhile.
you're doing that. You've announced you're spending another $200,000 to look at that. So it's $1 million plus $200,000.
If we're going to build a new hangar to allow for larger aircraft, there's work that needs to be done in order to do that. We need to know what we're doing and how we're getting there.
So it's a lot of promises, Peter, and more to come tomorrow with the budget, no doubt. And I can't help but think an election will be coming sooner rather than later.
Carolyn, whatever makes you think that? And it certainly has that feel to it. The Premier today being coy, though, about could an election call be coming on Wednesday or maybe Thursday. Here's how he responded to that question.
People have a right to see and be able to compare the plans of both the PCs, the NDP, and ours. All parties are ready. I think the population is ready too. But
so is that a yes on Wednesday?
We will. We're ready. We're ready for an election. I think the population is ready for an election. I've been challenged. So when someone looks at me like Ches Crosby and says, "Bring it on," well, you best be prepared that someone like me could meet that challenge.
Well, as we start the beginning of the next work week, it's going to be a busy one as far as weather goes. Today, quite warm to start, sitting in the double digits in parts of central Newfoundland. We're also looking, saw temperatures around 6 degrees in St. John's, 9 in Corner Brook. But as we are heading towards the evening hours, our next system is starting to move in, and you can see extends all the way back through the Maritimes. Rain right now, which is what's heading our way. But first, we're through a little bit of messy weather, and that's going to be very much temperature dependent as we head through the night tonight. We're going to see either rain or snow, and then that potential for some freezing rain depending on those surface temperatures as we head through the night tonight. That's going to make its way towards the northeast coast, certainly by the overnight and into the morning hours, where it looks like significant freezing rain is possible towards the Avalon as well. We're looking at some heavy rain by tomorrow morning, certainly. We've got a number of warnings in place, winter storm warnings, freezing rain warnings, and wind warnings all in place. I'll have all those details and your full forecast coming up.
Thanks, Ashley. Can't wait. A 28-year-old Quebec man has been charged with attempted murder in Shehajit. Michel Alexander Gregoire was arrested yesterday and charged in provincial court this morning in Happy Valley Goose Bay. He'll be back in court on Wednesday. Police say the victim was taken to the local hospital where she was treated and released.
And a man on the Northern Peninsula died this weekend after a snowmobile collision near Flowers Cove. The crash happened Saturday evening in the backcountry in an area known locally as the Lake. A 53-year-old man from Nameless Cove died on the scene. Our CMP are investigating.
And a strange incident to report now. This story also from Flowers Cove on the Northern Peninsula. It happened Friday when a patient was being taken to hospital and became violent. Police say the 48-year-old got up from his stretcher, assaulted a paramedic, and then stole the ambulance he was riding in. He then drove the vehicle down Route 430. Less than 2 kilometers away, he ended up in the ditch. Police arrested the man on site and say charges are pending. Fortunately, the paramedic was not seriously injured.
Here's a sure sign of spring on the island today. Firefighters in Portugal Cove, St. Phillips responded to this grass fire this afternoon. It happened in the area of Kings Hill Road off Thorburn Road. Fire Chief Fred Hollett says the firefighters were able to keep it from spreading too much, but he says it could have very easily gotten out of hand. He says people should remember there are rules for burning brush, including acquiring proper permits.
Right now, with a lot of dead grass around and brush, people are trying to clean up, and of course they're using fire to dispose of their brush. And a bit of a breeze on today as it is, and it only takes one spark of ember to get into the grass and it runs. And in this particular case, it ran very quickly and covered an area of probably close to 100 meters by 50 meters wide. Real fast. The homeowner attending the fire couldn't keep up with it.
From land to sea, researchers from the Department of Fisheries and Oceans are planning to take samples from a dead whale wedged in ice. The whale was spotted a few weeks ago by people on the west coast of Newfoundland in the Bay St. George area. They want to know if the heavy ice had anything to do with the whale's death. A spokesperson for DFO says whale researcher Jack Lawson is working with an expert in Quebec to determine the species of whale. In recent years, blue whales, right whales, and humpbacks have all washed up on shore of Newfoundland.
Well, police remain tight-lipped about their presence at a foxtrap cemetery linked to an alleged grave robbing. RNC officers were at the All Saints Anglican Cemetery this weekend with the province's medical examiner, as well as experts from Memorial University. It's not clear why they were there, but police have been holding the scene since last weekend when a 20-year-old man allegedly stole bones from the graveyard. The man has been charged with 3 offenses, including indecency or indecently interfering with human remains.
Well, now to a shocking and developing story out of France. The historic Notre Dame Cathedral is burning. We now go to a live shot from Paris, where a massive fire has devastated the landmark, one of France's most visited sites. Witnesses say the heartbreak in Paris is palpable. The cathedral is considered one of the greatest architectural treasures in the Western world. A fire broke out around 7 p.m. local time in the attic of the 12th century building, and it quickly spread. Notre Dame's roof soon collapsed, and with shocked crowds watching, the cathedral's spire fell to the ground. The entire wooden interior is no more, and fire spread to one of its 2 iconic bell towers. As night fell in Paris, hundreds of firefighters were still struggling to get the situation under control. Notre Dame had been under renovation for weeks, but officials say no work was underway at the time the fire began, and the cause still isn't known. There are no reports of injuries.
Unintended consequences.
They miss appointments all the time. That's an appointment that somebody else could have had, and so that adds to the burden on our very stressed healthcare system.
Why some doctors have a problem with the province's medical transportation program. That CBC Investigate story coming up.
Hi everyone, I'm Fred Hutton.
I'm Katie Breen. On Tuesday, Finance Minister Tom Osborne is going to bring down his fourth budget.
Fourth is an important number. It's an election year. We've already seen big spending announcements. The big question is, will there be any big surprises on Tuesday?
We'll find out. 2 o'clock on the island, 1:30 in most of Labrador. We're going to be broadcasting live on CBC Radio 1.
We'll also be on the CBC NL webpage and Facebook. It's all Tuesday on CBC.
This weather update is brought to you by the Healthcare Foundation Home Lottery. Order your tickets now at hcfhomelottery.ca.
Welcome back to Here Now, and this time of year it's always a bit of a weather roller coaster, isn't it? You know, the temperatures, we clickety-clack our way up and then whee down the other side. And it sounds like it's going to be an icy slide down the other side from what you were hinting at earlier.
Yeah, depending on where you are across the province. Yeah, today was beautiful to start.
So nice,
nice and warm. If we take a look at those temperatures, if you missed them a little bit earlier, sitting in the double digits through parts of Central. Now take a look at what we're sitting at now. So they have dropped significantly, hovering around the 0 degree mark for St. John's, 3 degrees for Gander, 2 in Corner Brook. And like I said, those temperatures are very much going to play into what type of precipitation we start to see through the overnight. Already seeing some and reports of some freezing rain along the west coast, and that will continue as we head through the night tonight and continue to track a little bit further north. Not only do we have some significant freezing rain on the way, we've got some significant snow on the way. So up through Labrador, the southeastern portions, and then down through the Great Northern Peninsula, a winter storm warning is in effect. We've got wind warnings for the Wreck House area, looking at gusts near 130 kilometers per hour tonight, and then all the way up through Gros Morne, exposed areas or areas prone to southeasterlies will see gusts near 100 kilometers per hour tonight. And then likely the most significant will be the freezing rain as far as the overnight goes. So freezing rain possible from Green Bay, White Bay all the way down through to the St. John's area. And with that, it's because we've got this warm push of air in the upper levels. And then as these surface temperatures drop, we are looking at that risk of freezing rain. Now the onset of that, because surfaces pretty much are already above zero, we saw those double-digit highs today, it might take a little longer for us to actually see that accumulating ice through the overnight. But certainly by morning, still looking at that risk of freezing rain. The Green Bay, White Bay area along the coast as well. And then it looks like by morning we should already have changed over to some heavy rain, especially for the Avalon. And then you're going to see that overnight for anywhere for the south as well. So here's a look where we could see that freezing rain. As I mentioned, significant, likely between 10 to maybe even 15 millimeters of ice accumulation for parts of Bonavista North. And then parts of the St. John's metro area could see upwards of about 5 to 10 millimeters as well, certainly in those higher elevations. So here's a look at your temperatures overnight tonight, hovering between 0 and -1. That's why we're going to see that freezing rain. Southeasterlies gusting upwards of 80 kilometers per hour. They're really going to pick up as we head through the night tonight. Along the west coast, 2 degrees for Corner Brook. By morning, 4 for Port aux Basques, -2 for St. Anthony. And then that snow and blowing snow for the Straits as well. Labrador City sitting around -5. So looking into tomorrow, you can see the Northern Peninsula and the Straits are all going to stay in that snow area, and quite significant snow accumulations as well. In behind that, we'll start to see some snow, and that's going to spread across the island through the day tomorrow. And as far as accumulations go, this brings us through to tomorrow morning, anywhere between 15 to 20 centimeters of snow, even more so through the day on Wednesday. So you're looking at accumulations anywhere between 30 to 50 millimeters of rain. So once we get through tomorrow, temperatures should recover nicely, sitting in the double digits along the Avalon, for the Avalon rather, 9 for Grand Falls, Windsor. Heading towards the coast, again sitting around 6 degrees. South coast though, still looking and hovering around the 0 degree mark in those onshore flow tonight. Tomorrow, we're looking at between 0 and 1 degree. Again, those strong winds, so reduced visibilities through the day. And then Lab City tomorrow, -2. Happy Valley, Goose Bay. The snow will continue through the afternoon along with those winds. So you're looking at not a very nice day through the afternoon. So that's a look at tomorrow's forecast. Looking ahead, it's going to get even warmer, but I'll have all those details coming up.
Well, Well, tonight on CBC Investigates, we tell you about warnings from doctors about the province's medical transportation policy and how the rules around bus passes are putting a strain on the healthcare system in the St. John's area. Rob Antle has the details.
Gary Barron helps out at the gathering place. He's a client, but is happy to pitch in. He gets here on the Metro bus, and more importantly, he also takes the bus to get to the doctor.
I got bad back. I got 3 bullets disc onto my back, so I can't do very much walking.
Barron has a free bus pass from the government, but hasn't heard if it will be renewed next month. If it isn't, he may miss those medical appointments.
I'm going to be pretty well confined to my apartment.
So that adds to the burden on our very stressed healthcare system.
Dr. Melanie Van Soren says missed appointments are just one of the problems caused by the current policy. Ambulances are even being called because people don't have money to pay for a bus or taxi.
I have had to do that for patients on a number of occasions at the gathering place because I have somebody who needs to go to the emergency department for assessment and care, and they can't walk there because they're either too unwell or they're injured, and we have no other way to get them there. Sometimes we scrounge up cab fare from those of us who are there, but we can't always do that.
Under the current rules, to qualify for that free Metro bus pass, people on income support need to have 8 or more medical appointments in a month. But internal government documents show those rules are having unintended consequences. Significant resources overseeing the program. Doctors getting tangled up in paperwork instead of medical work. Income support patients making appointments they don't need in order to hit that number to qualify for a bus pass.
All those policies are currently under review.
The health minister says he's aware of complaints by doctors, and his department is doing an overall review of the medical transport program.
I mean, the issue is about making the system patient-centered and client-friendly. We have a system that is designed to be system-friendly at the moment, and we're changing that.
But Van Soren, other doctors and community partners have written the province to take things one step further, beyond just medical transportation. They want free Metro bus passes for everyone on income support and subsidized rates for others with a low income.
The goal of this would be to ensure that everybody can participate in our society.
A different provincial government department is looking at the idea of an affordable Metro bus pass for people with low incomes. But officials with social development aren't doing interviews about what that could entail. They do confirm they're in talks with St. John's Council, but nobody at City Hall is doing interviews either. While the politicians talk, people like Gary Barron hope they don't have to walk.
If there was one thing you could say to the people in government who are making decisions about things like this, what would you say to them?
Be in some of the people's shoes for a day and see what way they'd like it. They want to have their bus pass too, right? So that's about it.
Rob Antle, CBC News, St. John's.
Money for nothing. A small francophone radio station in Lab City has received thousands of dollars in advertising revenue. The problem is the station isn't even on the air. Our colleagues at CBC Radio Canada have been digging into this story, and we'll break it all down coming up. Welcome back to Here and Now. A small francophone radio station in Labrador City has some explaining to do. The station has been off air for years, but continued to accept advertising dollars from government and private businesses. Thousands of dollars spent on radio ads that were never aired. And joining me now is CBC Radio Canada reporter Patrick Butler, who's been working on this story. So why don't we start with you telling us what this radio station is and how the situation unfolded?
Yeah, sure. So this radio station was founded in the early 90s, and it was successful for a number of years. But it was based in Labrador City. And then in 2009, from 2009 to 2012, the federal government invested a little over $600,000 into this radio station to create a sort of provincial francophone radio network. So a transmitter and all the operations based in Lab City, but then transmitters on the West Coast and here in St. John's. Now, for the past few years, however, we found out that there hasn't been any programming produced in Lab City, and for the past couple of years, no sort of radio happening at all. We contacted the managing director of the radio station, who's also the managing director of the Francophone Federation for the province, Gad Colbino. He told us that the radio station hasn't been in operation since July 2018, but in all of the exchanges and interviews we've done with people in Lab City, we found out that it's actually been more like from 2015 since there's actually been any radio programming produced in that area of the province.
Okay, but during that time, they have been receiving some advertising dollars. Can you talk about how much money they've gotten and where it came from?
Right, so we're still trying to figure that out. According to the information we got from the federal government, we've added up those figures, and it's about $13,000 since 2015 from the federal government alone. We also know that Walmart and Ford are also clients of this radio station. We're not able to figure out thus far how much money they would have spent, but we've come to those figures at least. We know also that the ad agencies that these clients were buying through were not aware that the radio station was off the air until around March, this March, so just a few weeks ago. So quite a big deal for them, and a lot of worries about what happened to that money and where it went.
Yeah, it must have been surprising for them paying for ads that were never aired.
Well, definitely, and part of the reason that this is so interesting is that you look at the industry, so much of it is based on good faith, and if you're an ad buyer, if you're a corporate client in Toronto, say, buying an ad in Labrador City, you're probably not going to hear that on the air, right? And the only proof that you're getting is a piece of paper called an affidavit where the radio station will have said, okay, these are the spots, this is when they aired, and this is your only proof, so it is sort of a worrying thing, perhaps for the industry, and a lot of people are asking questions about it, no doubt.
So who's accountable for this? How did all of this even happen to begin with?
Well, I guess it really comes back to the radio station itself in terms of who's accountable. And there will be lots of questions in the next few weeks in terms of where the money went and how clients and ad agencies will be able to recuperate that money. Some pretty major companies, Walmart and Ford, and the federal government as clients. So lots of questions going to be asked, and certainly lots of questions also within the community as well. Francophones within the province who see one of these radio stations, which started out as such a good idea, and really was, I think, there's a lot of hope for this as a sort of organization and thing within the community. Seeing where it's going to go and how it got to this point.
And I guess you'll be following it through?
For sure, yeah. We'll be following this in the next couple of days. It's going to be a busy week, I think.
All right, Patrick Butler, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, aviation enthusiasts are coming together to celebrate a big anniversary, 100 years since Alcock and Brown's historic transatlantic flight. The duo departed from St. John's on June 14th, 1919. Well, today, reporter Jeremy Eaton got a glimpse at how that anniversary will be remembered.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
At the 150 Royal Canadian Air Force Wing in St. John's, the suits gathered to talk about what was in store to honor British aviators John Alcock and Arthur Brown.
At 1:45 p.m. on June 14th, 1919, 100 years ago almost, the famous duo of Alcock and Brown took off from Leicester's Field right here in St. John's, barely clearing the treetops with their fuel-laden Vickers Vimy.
I saw the sky once for long enough to fix our position by the stars.
But it wasn't easy, fun, or very safe. More than 16 hours in the air, 2,800 kilometers before crashing in Ireland.
They were in an open cockpit plane.
They only flew about 100 miles an hour, but I mean, you get a 100-mile-an-hour wind hitting you in the face. That's pretty significant. It was cloudy almost the whole way, so they had to rely on what few instruments they had in those days. At one point, they apparently lost their perspective, and the plane wound upside down, spinning towards the Atlantic Ocean.
It's a big deal for the aviation industry and even bigger for this province, enough to get the group Aviation History Newfoundland and Labrador to spearhead the event and score a few $100,000 from the federal and provincial governments.
It set the stage for the commercial operation and the viability, and it set the stage for the success of the wars as well, moving people and troops across the Atlantic.
The transatlantic aviation industry today was born on the 14th of June when Alcock and Brown lifted off from a field not very far from here.
This is where it all began. It's now a Legion here on Black Marsh Road, but it used to be called Leicester Field, and this is where Alcock and Brown started their historic transatlantic flight 100 years ago. Now, to commemorate that, there is this monument here behind me. There are plans for locally made statues of the two men and an updated memorial. Alcock's nephew is coming to town for an aviation ball, concert, and even a commemorative craft beer. Jeremy Eaton, CBC News, St. John's.
Honor myself, along with my husband. We had a lot of running shoes 10 years ago, and my daughter suggested that I find a home for them.
Well, you could say she's running a different kind of charitable operation.
Up next is the story of a woman who's making good use of old sneakers that still have plenty of spring in their step. Welcome back to Here and Now. You don't leave home without them. Shoes may be necessary, but they're also expensive. One woman is making sure thousands of gently used sneakers find their way onto the feet of those who need them. The CBC's Jeremy Eaton caught up with her at a race this weekend.
Yeah, usually sometimes they don't tie them up. This is the start of the race season for road racing in Newfoundland in St. John's. So I'm collecting the used running sneakers for a couple of local charities here in St. John's. I'm a runner myself, along with my husband. We had a lot of running shoes 10 years ago, and my daughter suggested that I find a home for them, that people could use these running shoes. They weren't really worn out. So, so I found a location, and 10 years later, we're still doing it. I didn't know how it was going to be. I didn't know if people would want to donate their used running shoes. I didn't know if people really wanted them. But 1 year into it, 4 races into 1 year, the need was so much, the demand was so great that I knew it had to be done, and I knew there was a need for it.
Worn on the front of the body.
The real program I've been working with for 10 years, and they help youth in sports. So they get a lot of my sneakers. And 2-3 years ago, I developed a partnership with the Gathering Place, and now they get a lot of our sneakers as well.
So then in the future, meaning of life.
The Muse 8K is a big race. Of course, Cape to Cabot is our A&E's really popular and enduring race, so I'll be there. As well, I'll do the Telly 10. This is my 3rd year taking on the beast of the Telly 10. I know from the Telly 10 alone, of course that's the big race, we had over 1,000 pairs. I think it was 1,050 pairs. A race like today, the first race of the season, I will likely get 150 pairs. So I'm going to say like 1,800 pairs in the year, yeah.
There are serious environmental concerns for the waters off Nunavut's capital. Raw sewage is leaking into Frobisher Bay, millions and millions of liters of it because of a blockage near Iqaluit's water treatment plant. Jackie McKay reports.
Anything being flushed down a toilet or washed down a drain in Iqaluit is ending up in Frobisher Bay. Debris like rags and bits of plastic have caused a blockage in the sewer line by the lift station. That's where all the city's sewage goes before it is transferred to the wastewater treatment plant. But because of the blockage, the sewage isn't being treated and instead is draining into the bay.
If there's an issue in the lift station or any other system like this that needs to be addressed, you essentially got to divert somewhere so that it doesn't get back into people's own yards and homes.
The city says about 950,000 liters of raw sewage has been draining into the bay every day since March 28th. The city is working on clearing the blockage but doesn't know when they will be able to stop the overflow, something that has the local Hunters and Trappers Association worried.
The real concerns are when the ice is going to break up and there's raw sewage going into the bay. It's probably going to do some damage on some fish and maybe in the long run some clams in the future if this raw sewage keeps flowing into the bay.
Alanga says the Hunters and Trappers Association will be asking the city for compensation of damages if the health of the bay is affected by this leak. For now, the city is asking people to avoid this part of the trail. Jackie McKay, CBC News, Iqaluit.
The first evacuees from Kashechewan were flown out of the Northern Ontario Cree First Nation today ahead of spring flooding. About 2,500 people are being relocated to temporary homes hundreds of kilometers away in Timmins, Kapuskasing, and Thunder Bay. They may have to stay there for weeks until floodwaters subside. The community is on the Albany River, which is about to undergo a massive spring thaw. Residents have been forced to flee many times because of spring flooding, costing the federal government about $20 million. They're upset that promises to relocate to Kashechewan permanently have not yet been kept. Welcome back, everyone. Well, during the break, Ashley was telling me some very exciting news. At least I found it pretty exciting that the weekend, which is a long weekend this weekend, could be very nice. Like
it could be kind of summer-ish, like I guess, if we get into temperatures, which some models are pointing at could reach between 16 to 18 degrees in some cases. Now, again, it is very early, but don't hold me to that just yet. But,
okay, so don't get the flip-flops and the sunscreen.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, there's a good chance we could certainly see temperatures in the teens, though. But we need to get through some cooler temperatures first. Right. So we are going to see this system hang around from today right through into Wednesday. And you can see there's a lot of blue in that, which means we could see some snow. It's going to spread across the island right through Wednesday afternoon. The Labrador should see some snow as well along the coast for sure. Otherwise, we're just looking at some cloudy periods through the afternoon. And then eventually things will clear out as we head into Thursday, and that's because high pressure is going to move back in. So that's good news there. But here's your temperatures. So we're going to see some cooler temperatures between 1 and 3 degrees, hence why we're going to see that snow, either rain or snow through the afternoon, because temperatures are still a little bit above zero. If we do see any accumulation at all, especially through central and the Avalon, it will likely only be 2, maybe 3 centimeters of snow, and at that, a very wet snow. Up through Labrador, sunshine, Lab City 2 degrees, 3 for Happy Valley, Goose Bay, and Nain will hover around the 0 degree mark. Now, as that system pulls away, we'll get into a ridge of high pressure, and then some more cloud cover moving in Thursday overnight into Friday. That's when the next system comes through again. We're going to see some more snow potential up through Labrador through the day on Friday, and then the push of warm air. So to start, a little bit cold, but that significant push of warm air will move in certainly by Saturday morning, and this is where we're going to see those temperatures really climb. And you can see even for southwestern portions of Labrador, we'll see warm temperatures as well. Even Happy Valley, Goose Bay will likely see temperatures above 0 through the next at least week or so. So here's a look at the forecast. 12 degrees tomorrow should be the afternoon high. Southwesterly winds still quite strong, 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. Rain or drizzle through the day, even some peaks of sun as well. Wednesday, either rain or snow. Windy continuing right through Thursday, 3 degrees, and then there's that warm up. So right now I have 12 degrees on Saturday with a few showers and windy conditions. And then into central Newfoundland, cool again on Wednesday, and then there's that warm up as we head towards Saturday, 14 degrees. And then for western Newfoundland, same thing. So windy with some snow and whiteout conditions potentially for Wednesday. Thursday, 6 degrees and sunny, and then 7 to 10 degrees as we head through the weekend. Eastern Labrador, 5 centimeters tomorrow, and northeasterlies 50 to 70 kilometers per hour. So looking at another 5 centimeters through the day, and then clearing out quite nicely. 6 degrees on Thursday, above 0, 7 for Saturday. And then western Labrador, same thing. So temperatures should be hovering up above 0 by the time we get into Wednesday and continue through Friday and Saturday, but with that either rain or snow. So let's look at your extended forecast. I'll have your weather photo when I come back. Carolyn?
Thanks, Ashley. Well, good news for local basketball fans. The Edge is moving on following Sunday's win against Sudbury. St. John's is heading to the NBL Division Finals. Sunday's game was the last in a 5-game series, and the Edge dominated with a score of 101-92. The team will advance to the second of 3 rounds in the basketball playoffs. No dates for those games have been announced, but the Edge will have home court advantage. And that's not all they'll have. Team captain Carl English is expected to make his return after surgery sidelined the star player back in February.
I'm going to start training. I've been training, but training with contact tomorrow and see. Hopefully this week is great, and then I can be activated. I will be activated within the next 24 hours. You know, we're playing with a lot of grit. We're playing with a lot of fight. We're diving on everything. We're fighting to the end. And, you know, win, lose, or draw, if we put that energy on the floor, I think we'll get the result we want, and I think the fans will be pleased with the product.
Well, Saturday was a big day for record lovers in St. John's. For the 11th straight year, Record Store Day celebrates the independent shops which keep selling music on vinyl. People in St. John's flocked to one of the best-known record stores in the province. There were healthy lineups outside of Fred's Records long before the doors even opened, and the traffic, well, it didn't stop all day.
grown for us. You know, it's evolved over the years. It's really blossomed. It started out a bit slow, and then we became more engaged in it. It's one of the biggest days of the year. It's certainly the only day we have a massive lineup outside, which grows. You know, really over the hour before we open, it goes all the way down to the end of the block. So it's a big day.
A New Brunswick man says he was treated like a criminal by Canadian border officials after a holiday down south. The Indigenous artist says when he returned from a solo vacation last month, he was detained for hours and forced to go through medical tests. And now he wants to know why. Maria Jose Burgos has his story.
Felt like kind of like an animal, you know, that people are just, they're treating me wrong for no reason.
Timothy Hogan had a relaxing week in the Dominican Republic, but the feeling didn't last long. As soon as he got off the plane in Fredericton, he was pulled aside by border officials.
They pulled me and said, "Mr. Hogan, come with me. We have to check you, and we believe that you're smuggling narcotics."
Canada Border Services Agency examined his bag and his phone. But when Hogan asked why he was being targeted, it came down to money and how he appeared to have a dry mouth.
They said that you being an artist, you probably should not be able to afford to go to a four-star resort and to go on a vacation this time of year.
Hogan was strip searched at the airport. Then he was given the option to stay there and have 3 bowel movements, or go to the hospital for x-rays to make sure he hadn't swallowed narcotics. Hogan asked to speak to a lawyer and was given a number for legal aid.
And she said pretty much that there's nothing they can do about it, that they have authority to do pretty much anything they want to me while I'm at the airport with these security guys.
Hogan agreed to go to the hospital for x-rays, which proved he wasn't hiding any drugs. Looking back, Hogan doesn't believe finances were the real reason he was detained.
At the end of the day, I believe it's probably because of my race. You know, I look quite a bit darker when I came out of there, and people over there, they call me amigo, so I do kind of look Mexican. But I was in my hometown.
Hogan says he still can't believe what happened, but these stories are nothing new to immigration lawyers.
And under the Customs Act, they're given very broad powers to search anything, to seize anything, as long as there are reasonable grounds for them to do so. So that's the key.
Deloge says elitism was likely at play, but any lawyer looking into the case would want to find out if racism was also involved.
Just recently, the federal government has announced that they will be instituting a watchdog agency to oversee CBSA.
CBC News requested an interview with the Canada Border Services Agency and Horizon Health, which operates the hospital. Neither would say if what happened in this case was standard procedure. As for Hogan, he was planning a trip with his 3 kids next spring. Now, he says he doesn't want to risk confrontation at the airport. Maria Jose Burgos, CBC News, Fredericton.
Well, here's a shot of a dog and a snowman watching the sunrise over an area on the Avalon.
Now that snowman's days are numbered.
I was just going to say, will it melt? I'll let you know where this photo was taken when we come back.
Oh, did you catch Tiger Woods' win at the Masters this weekend?
Yeah, it was a pretty incredible game, but there were 2 other memorable moments for fans. Let's take a look.
2 other American players had days they'll never forget. They both hit shots that stunned the crowd, a hole-in-one.
Yeah, wait for it, wait for it. There you go. The odds of 2 players getting a hole-in-one at the same event, 32,000 to 1. And in case you're wondering, this has now happened at the Masters in Augusta 29 times.
Oh, okay.
I guess when you're that good, you're that good.
You beat the odds, for sure. So that's such an adorable photo that was sent in to us.
There's our weather photo of the day. So this photo is actually taken in Maples.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah, it sent us that photo last week, actually. So the it's probably not there anymore.
Right.
And definitely will not be as we head towards the weekend. So thank you so much, Michelle, for sending that photo in. If you have any that you'd like to share with us, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
All right.
Share a bit of the freezing rain, perhaps, that we're expecting to get for many parts of the island tonight.
That's right, freezing
Yeah.
rain.
It can be very pretty.
It could be beautiful tomorrow. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but that's the only positive with it.
Big news day tomorrow for sure with the budget coming down. We'll see you then. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.